All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Alex Questas Show. As always, thanks for pressing play. You absolutely did not have to press play, but you did. Here you are, ready to enjoy some fun talk, a little bit of ranting, and this is going to be a very angry beginning of the episode from me. I am joined, as always, by my trusty forced friend, my brother, David. How are you?
I'm doing all right. And that's all you're going to get from me.
They probably were better 2 seconds ago.
You have a rant to go on. So
I do. So before we touch on to the main topic, which if anyone is reading the title of this show and you are a police officer, please don't be offended and come in here angry. It's not what it seems. The title's a little misleading. But I want to talk about some recent events, house cleaning stuff. One of them is extremely sad. Sad, angering, frustrating, all the above. Any sort of negative emotion you could put on it. Wisconsin is in the news for all of the wrong reasons lately, and it sucks. There was a tragedy on Sunday at Waukesha, Wisconsin. I don't know how to say it. Waukesha. I think it's Waukesha. Waukesha, Wisconsin. And what happened was they were having a Christmas parade. And, outside of them doing a Christmas parade before Thanksgiving, which I have a problem with. But anyway, they were doing a Christmas parade and some absolute madman decided that it was a good day to run through the barricade. There's some chilling videos of watching this red SUV flying up this parade, nearly missing what looks to be a 2 or 3 year old girl bouncing up and down, dancing. But then at some angles, you see him dart into the parade and start running down people, zigging side to side. He hits a lot of older people. Dancing grannies of Wisconsin, I think, or Waukesha, have people killed. And he ends up, right now, the ledger is at 6 people killed. As of recording today on the 23rd of November, there is a 6th person killed. Before it was only reported to be 5. And we just found out not too long ago that a 9-year-old lost his life. Extremely sad.
Thought he was 8.
9 or 8. Regardless, under 10, young child. All the other ones were in their 70s. I think the youngest were 52. So all lives lost are terrible, but it's always so much worse when it is a child. So everything to those families. It's just an extremely difficult thing, especially now around the holiday season. Looking forward to Thanksgiving, looking forward to getting into Christmas mode. And for at least, all these families, all families of the 48 injured, I don't care if they passed on or not. This is now forever going to be a scarring time for these people and the people of Waukesha. Now, I do have to talk about one thing. First off, we were fed a bunch of bullshit in the beginning of this. Right away, it came out that it wasn't a terrorist attack. They don't think it was a terrorist attack or any sort of retaliation for the Kyle Rittenhouse verdict, which we'll talk about. But the story we were fed is that this man was fleeing a crime involving, I guess, a stabbing or a knife something, which is the biggest load of bullshit. Because if you're fleeing a crime, you're going to try to be conspicuous. Now, granted, this guy's out of his mind. If we're going to talk quickly about, social media posts, he's crazy. But if you're a criminal and you're fleeing somewhere, you're not going to run through a parade. So that was nonsense from the beginning. This guy had ill intent. His name is Darrell Brooks. He's right now been charged with 5 first-degree intentional homicides. The 6th one's going to be tacked on with now this 6th person that passed on. And I just have to say something, Dave. I see it all the time on Twitter and social media, and this isn't going to put a high horse on right people or conservatives or anything like that, but the benefit of the doubt is given a lot of times in terms of what happened, and let's not rush to judgment and all that stuff. And I kind of want to say with this one, fuck that. Because when things go on and it's an apparent Trump supporter or right-wing person, automatically they're, right now in this current climate, they're domestic terrorists, they're white supremacists, they're this and that. We saw that a bunch with Kyle Rittenhouse. And I want to say Darrell Brooks is a black man. And there were a lot of people that were inflamed by the Kyle Rittenhouse verdict by people trying to invoke race into it. And I've seen a lot of social media posts. And part of that is this gentleman was not too happy about the verdict. There's some things Andy No did a great job diving into this man's social media before they locked it all up. And on his social media, he was, a BLM supporter. So obviously, you're going to imagine he's angry about the fact that Kyle Rittenhouse was at a BLM thing and all the propaganda that went on talking about Kyle Rittenhouse. He had posts about a story of a cop, I guess, giving instructions to people that are in a violent protest in their car surrounded by protesters to just drive through, hit the people, and then just stop when you get to safety. Now, people are saying that has nothing to do with it because it's a racist cop saying it. And you can't discount the connection between the two. You just can't do it. So there's that. And then he also has a post about beating up white people, even older white people. He also has a rap sheet of nearly 50 pages long. He was just let out on November 11th on $1,000 bail from, I don't even know, I think it was a domestic charge. He's also a sexual predator. The guy is not a good person. So we're not giving this guy the benefit of the doubt. He's not getting it from me. The guy had intent here. And it seems like it's intent to hurt white people. So we're not giving him that benefit of doubt. It's a tragedy. I hope this guy gets the book thrown at him. I don't know if Wisconsin has the death penalty. If they don't, they need to instate it for this guy, for one guy, because he attempted to kill people in the worst way. And it's a very Middle Eastern terrorist style way that he did it. So he obviously studied on how to do this. So this just pisses me off, Dave. Go. You can go. I'm pissed.
Well, when it first happened, I actually followed a bunch of different people on Twitter, and I did see the whole, reserve judgment. And I did reserve judgment because the first happened. Obviously, it was an attack on the parade for whatever reason. It was obviously a person trying to kill people. Even if you were fleeing a knife fight or a knife attack, you usually don't plow into a parade and then keep going through the parade, hitting more people. That's not what a person does when fleeing something, unless they're just a bad person trying to hit those people. Now, motive aside, I understand that's what you're talking about here. Motive aside, but one of the biggest problems I find here, which was being talked about, is that he got out on $1,000 bail of, I don't remember if it was this crime or another one he committed, but he actually tried to run someone over before.
His ex-girlfriend.
Yes. He literally tried to do this before.
His bail is set on $5 million right now. So its current bail is $5 million. I guess it's $1 million per life taken. It'll probably be up to $6 million.
I don't think he should have any bail.
Nope.
There should be no bail. I get $5 million is a lot. It should be none. No bail at all. But I honestly, I feel like that's the bigger problem here. I mean, you want to talk about some of the things happening on the streets. If people can commit crimes like that, where they're trying to run someone over and they get something like $1,000 bail, then that's a problem. There's a reason why he was able to get back out on the streets and then do this.
Now, let's see if anybody posts the bail form. Let's see if anybody posts the bail form, because famously, the MyPillow guy, Mike Lindell, posted it for Kyle Rittenhouse, $2 million. So let's see if the bail gets posted. I'll tell a lot about the character of the people that, did the bailout. So jumping away from that, well, no, we're not going to jump away. One last thing. Fuck anybody on Twitter that I saw that said, oh, well, he was just acting in self-defense in a crowd. No. You're a terrible person. You're going to burn in hell. Whether you believe in it or not. I don't care what you believe in. If you're atheist, then your nothingness is going to be worse than the good person's nothingness. I don't give a shit. You're an awful person. Absolutely terrible person. And you showed your true colors. And you don't deserve anything from anybody positive. Bottom line, you're a shithead. Nobody should like you. So we're going to move on, continuing with some of the angry. So Kyle Rittenhouse was acquitted on all charges. I think me and you believe that was going to happen. I don't know if we mentioned anything about, I think we mentioned something last episode or a few episodes. We believe that was going to happen. All the evidence showed, and we did. I mentioned that because I talked to Mr. Ron Moranz, who I still appreciate his comments. We talked about that. I believe he was going to get off, and he did get off. He was acquitted on all charges. It was a nail biter for the defense team for Kyle Rittenhouse. But again, back to my anger. The celebrities prove once again that they are the shittiest people outside of those stupid ass liberals. They suck. So quickly, the Mandalorian, Pedro Pascal, him, comes out on the 20th, so yesterday, 3 days ago. Joseph Rosenbaum, 36, and Anthony Huber, 27, murdered August 25th, 2020. Rest in peace. You're an asshole. Absolutely just a terrible. I don't know if I love The Mandalorian. I don't know if I'm going to watch it, and I don't think anyone else should. This guy just said rest in peace to a person in Joseph Rosenbaum, and I'm going to describe this. He anally raped a small child. And that was one of 5 extra counts against him for sexually assaulting kids under the age of 11, little boys, anally raped a little boy. If you want to lionize somebody that anally raped a little boy, fuck you. No holds barred. I'm sorry, this is getting graphic early, but this needs to be said. Now, again, him being a rapist and a predator and a pedophile doesn't, I'm sorry, I hold judgment. It does mean he should die, but he should die by the state's hands because that is a shitty thing. But it doesn't mean that that night his life deserved to be taken. I will say that. But overall, he shouldn't have been on this earth anyway. He should have been killed before this for that crime. But his life did not need to be taken that night. As of Anthony Huber is a woman beater. He's not a good person. He's a terrible individual as well. He's a felony guy. He hit Kyle Rittenhouse twice with a skateboard with intent to knock him out. Do you think they would have stopped if they would have knocked him out? That crowd that riled up, they would have killed Kyle Rittenhouse. So no, eye for an eye there. Anthony Huber is also a shithead. So Pedro Pascal, I don't know. I got to think twice about watching The Mandalorian. I hope Gina Carano takes your spot. Disney needs to do something about this asshole. Someone else, Mark Ruffalo, is always here for a good time. If you want to think of an idiot in Hollywood, it's Mark Ruffalo. Just mind you, I tried listening to Bernie Sanders' book, and it was fine when Bernie was narrating. I don't agree with a lot of it, but it was fine. It was listenable. When Mark Ruffalo started narrating, I had to turn it off. Mark Ruffalo is the shittiest narrator of all time with audiobooks. Just to tell you, he sucks. He's a good actor, but he sucks at narrating. He says, let's come together and mourn the lives lost to the racist system that devalues Black lives and devalue the lives of Anthony and JoJo. Hashtag reimagine Kenosha. After all we have seen and heard about these weapons of war, these killing machines, there is no doubt that people will face this young man were more afraid of him than he was of them. He was the one with the weapon of war loaded and ready to be used on people. Justice weeps bitterly today. We are coming together to heal the scars left by the wounds of this grief. We will care for each other and remember why we continue to march. All this tells me, outside of Mark Ruffalo being an idiot, he didn't pay attention to anything. He didn't pay attention to JoJo screaming, shoot me, N-bomb, in the middle of Black people, screaming it over and over and over again. He didn't pay attention to Joseph Rosenbaum chasing after Kyle Rittenhouse. If he's so scared of the gun, then he shouldn't have been chasing the guy. So, and the fact that he called him JoJo just makes me sick to my stomach. There's also Reese Witherspoon that said some dumb shit. There's Mary Schneider or whatever her name is, Marie. These people should not be lionized. Now, I don't necessarily think that Kyle Rittenhouse should be lionized. It's a ridiculous thing that we even have to talk about this because Kyle Rittenhouse should have never been on the stand. I don't want to hear that he shouldn't have been there. The rioter shouldn't have been there. And the police failed the town of Kenosha. The police force failed the town of Kenosha. Instead of setting up a goddamn line and saying, here, protesters, protest in this box. Go and do your goddamn jobs. They didn't do that. Dave, anything on the Rittenhouse thing?
Well, I will say, if you want to take good faith interpretation of the celebrities, you say they're extremely ignorant. They didn't watch any of the trial. They didn't watch any of the video from the night, even though literal multiple angles, like many angles of the videos of that experience that night came out on the same day and then even any time after. You've had a year to digest it. But good faith interpretation, they're very ignorant to it, and they're just feeding off of what people have told them, and it's all wrong things. All of them incredibly wrong, but good faith interpretation, that's what's happened here. And they think they're doing the right thing. Bad faith interpretation, which honestly, you can be pushed this way because yet again, they've had a year to digest this information, is that they come from the same place that completely allowed Harvey Weinstein, Roman Polanski, and other types of people that not only sexually assault grown people, grown women and men, but people that literally sexually assault children. Corey Feldman comes out and talks about pedophilia in Hollywood, and everyone wants to act like it's not a thing, especially the celebrities there. So bad faith interpretation, which I don't fault anyone for giving, is that these people not only allow it in their Hollywood circle, but do not care about it here either.
And if you don't think they knew Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, you're out of your goddamn mind. They all knew him. They all rubbed elbows. They all knew what was going on with Kevin Spacey. You're telling me they didn't know what was going on with Bill Cosby? You're telling me they didn't know what was going on with R. Kelly? They all know each other. They run in the same circles. They block for each other all the time.
And listen, I'm going to be honest. If you have a person you know that's just a normal person, take the good faith interpretation with them. If they believe some of the things, take the good faith interpretation, because there's a damn good prospect that they're just busy in their lives and they only have times to look at headlines and they don't have the time to do this. That doesn't entirely discredit, I can't think of the word. That doesn't entirely enable them to just spout whatever, but at least they have a reason. At least they're not trying to like hide things from you. That's just what they believe. They believe that they're doing the right thing. That's fine. You can find common ground with a person that you know like that. But a good faith interpretation for the people you know, I don't blame you if you have the bad faith ones for the celebrities. I do not blame you because I see no reason not to sometimes, honestly.
So we're going to jump in to the next Ahmaud Arbery case. Is they just finished their closing arguments. We're on to verdict watch with Ahmaud Arbery. And interesting. I guess All That Remains, Phil from All That Remains, I actually talked to a thing with him. He was mentioning about the Ahmaud Arbery case. And he mentioned real quick on Twitter, if you think the meltdown over the not guilty verdict in the Rittenhouse trial has been enjoyable, wait till the shooters in the Arbery case are convicted. It's going to be better than the Rittenhouse case. Now, mind you, this is him saying that 3 white people who killed Ahmaud Arbery are going to be convicted. I chimed in, said difference is the left flipped out over the correct outcome in the Rittenhouse case. The right, largely, there will be some dumb outliers, agree with the opinion of conviction of the Arbery killers if it comes down that way. He responded back, that's a great part. Left has been calling it right racist, saying, what if it was a black man? And we're going to see the Arbery case where 2 white guys going to jail for murdering a black guy. Left isn't going to be able to process it. Now, I mentioned some idiot right outliers, and there were plenty that came after me and Phil that tried to defend the McMichaels and the fact that they killed and murdered Ahmaud Arbery. It was a wrongful killing. Now, they mentioned that they see the similarities because I guess they watched the Rittenhouse case because it was big, and the mentions that both Rosenbaum and Huber grabbed Rittenhouse's gun, so that automatically made them armed and allowed Kyle Rittenhouse to kill him. And they said Ahmaud Arbery grabbed one of the McMichaels guns, so therefore they were justified. And I'll tell you that's not correct. They saw Ahmaud Arbery canvassing homes. They had heard Ahmaud Arbery has been canvassing the area for a little while. A neighbor asked them if they saw him, 2 citizens arrest him. They went up to him, and the defense trial attorney made it sound like they were all hunky-dory with him, like, hey, we just want to talk to you. When what we know about the McMichaels, it was probably more like, come here, boy. So, no, I'm not buying the whole entire they were nice to him out Aubrey shit. From what I gathered happened, they called him over, asked him what you're doing. Stay there. We're going to get the cops. He bolted. They cut him off, attempted to stop him physically, get in front of him with their person. He, with fight or flight in mind, not being able to flee, decided to try and fight, which meant squaring up, trying to hit them, trying to grab the weapon, successfully grabbing the weapon. And when he was unable to take it away, had an area, bolted again, and we know what happened after that. He was murdered. In this situation, he was not the aggressor. He was fleeing, and they stopped him from fleeing. And because they stopped him and they got him in a false entrapment, a false imprisonment, they are the aggressors. He is still the victim. If they would have just let him go, and then he turns around and bolts back at them again in an aggressive manner and tries to take their guns again, now he is the aggressor. That did not happen. He tried to get himself free. He fought when he was cornered, and then he tried to leave, and he was murdered. I don't know why anybody doesn't understand that. Viva Fry basically said that in a few tweets. Most legal experts who said Kyle Rittenhouse was innocent is now also saying that the McMichaels, outstanding of something ridiculous going on in the jury room, will face jail time. Significant jail time for murder. Felony murder, I believe, is what they're going to get them on. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to hear this nonsense, and will be interesting to see what goes on, because I know for a fact that we'll see a lot of the leftist publications touting this as a big victory against racism and everything. And the funny thing is, David, guys like me, you, and a lot of other honest people are going to go, yes, two racist dudes that acted on their racism and incorrectly killed the black guy are going to go to jail. And good, better off. But that's the difference, and that's what pisses me off about that. Dave, do you have anything different on the Aubrey case that you see?
I couldn't really agree more. I will say that one thing is that with a civilian's arrest, from what I read, is that you have to have witnessed him doing it, witnessed the person doing a certain thing, a certain crime before you could do it. They did not witness it during the day. So even if they wanted to do a civilian's arrest, they didn't. It's not within their legal right to do it if you're not witnessing the action that take place. And just like you said, of course, there's a similarity that they both grabbed for the gun, but that completely takes away the context from both situations. Yes, if a person grabs for your gun, that does make them armed as well. That is technically correct. But the context of the Rittenhouse is that Rittenhouse was not the aggressor. Rosenbaum was. The context of McMichaels and Aubrey is Aubrey was not the aggressor. McMichaels was. You came up to him. You're the one that chased him down. There's a huge difference there. Yep. So it's weird why some people, like, I understand where you're coming from if you're saying that, yes, he grabbed the gun. That happened. But he was not the aggressor in the situation. He didn't start it. He wasn't the provocation there. Exactly. So I feel like we just have to be real honest about that. I don't know. It's weird, but I just don't see it as any way, but you could say that they're guilty of what they did. Aubrey didn't seem to do anything that warranted what they did.
Exactly. And, and I think a lot of people are coming at this incorrectly on both sides. The right is assuming that, I guess rooting for the white people, which does make you a racist piece of shit if automatically you root for the right white people. And on the left, or black people are just rooting for the black guy right away, regardless of the circumstance on either side. Again, which makes you a racist piece of shit. If you are rooting for a skin color, an immutable thing, that is incorrect. You are a bad person if that's all you root for. So I came into this and I really didn't know what was going on with the Ahmaud Arbery. I heard what had happened. Whatever you hear is usually not true in the first 24 hours, 48 hours. You really wait. Now that the facts came out, it is undisputable that the McMichaels were in the wrong. And if anybody can't see that, then they're not paying attention. Lastly, last case that we need to watch is the most important case in our lifetime. Ghislaine Maxwell. If she makes it to her trial without having a heart attack or something, because they're going to try and kill this woman. They are going, whether it's the celebrities we talked about, like Mr. Ruffalo and Pascal, guarantee they took trips on Lolita Express. It's slander me. I don't give a shit. Take me up, one of you two. But there's a lot of important big people. There's a lot of rumors that Trump was on the Lolita Express at a time. It's been denied. There's been no ledgers with him on it, apparently. But if he was, fuck Donald Trump. Anybody that took the Lolita Express can go to hell, top to bottom. I don't care if you participated in anything there. You went there. You saw what went on there. We know what went on there. Anybody that went there, anybody that was actually friends with Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell can go to hell. But we need to pay attention to this trial if it makes it there. It's the most important trial of our lifetime. Everyone needs to pay attention and expose everything said there.
I believe it's called the Ghislaine Maxwell Trial Tracker on Twitter.
Yes.
Just look that up. They're going to be tracking it. Starts next week. Follow them.
Same person that has the Pelosi tracker.
Is it really? Well,
same exact person that does the Pelosi tracker.
Follow them, because that's what I'm doing. I want to see everything that's going to happen. So.
And I know they have a Substack. If you want to pay for their Substack, they have all the stuff on there as well. They're doing God's work doing that. So please follow that if you can in any which way. The media is going to try not to cover Ghislaine Maxwell. And I'm telling you, it's going to be across the board. Anybody that has money or has had money over the past 4 or 5 decades does not want you to know that they know Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. So this is not going to be covered by Fox News. This is not going to be covered by CNN, MSNBC, anybody. You're going to see maybe some small shows covering it, some podcasts, and I call them small because they don't have the big money backing. They have millions of viewers, but smaller shows. So be very careful and follow the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. All right, so we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of the show. God, I don't know how much time that leaves us. I don't time these anymore, so this is going to be a little long, but it was worth it because I needed to get that off my chest. So the topic that I want to talk to everybody about is that everybody knows that there's been the big push for the big blue line. No, the thin blue line, not the big blue line. Thin blue line. Support blue. Support our cops. This all sprung from a lot of cops getting unfairly called racist, unfairly called bigoted, being targets of just random assaults. We saw that happening in large strings in NYPD. We saw these types of things going on across the country, and cops have always been unfairly treated because, when good cops are doing their jobs, you don't really notice them too often. We're seeing a lot of shit cops getting brought to the light as they deserve to be. But it's come a time where, and I'm sorry if this offends any of my cop friends. I have family that's cops. I have friends that are cops. We all need to stop blindly backing the blue. We need to stop everyone just saying we support the thin blue line, period. Because we're coming to a point where we can't support the thin blue line because the thin blue line is not going to support the common man anymore. Now, people might be wondering, what do I mean? If you look what's going on just right now in the world, and especially in America, there's cops every day with the story. A cop is quitting here. A cop is quitting there. Some mandate is making them not be able to stay. The threat of a mandate. You need to get vaxxed. This and that. There's a lot of cops quitting, and a lot of the cops that are quitting are the good cops. I'm making a plea right here, right now. If anybody hears this, if you know a cop that is a good police officer and they're ready to quit because of all the bullshit they're facing, whether it's a mandate for the vaccine, whether it's unfair targeting, whether it's them being told they're not allowed to do their job for certain things, whether it's seeing criminals in New York City that you arrested on something violent back on the street the next day because bail reform is bullshit, please tell them to not quit. We need our cops now more than ever. And we don't just need any cops. We need good cops. Good cops that still want to protect and serve. Not the cops that are there just willingly taking orders. There's a huge difference between a good cop and an asshole cop that is just there to get their dollar and take orders. Because right now, the more and more good cops we see leave, the more and more we just get rank and file guys that'll do whatever they're told to keep their jobs. And when I tell you, history has showed that they are the one that will start enforcing evil well before anybody else. They're part of the tools. Them with the military mixed are the ones that will start to do all the killing, all the violence, all the rounding up if it comes to that in this country. And I don't want to hear anyone say it's not coming here. It will undoubtedly come here if we continue going on the path we're going, if we continue being so tribal. Because when we're tribal, I did the whole episode, the last episode, about stepping out of your political identity on its own. If you continue to be so friggin' tribal, we continue to allow the politicians to control us by making us argue over useless things and pitting us at each other, and we allow critical theories to run wild and problematize everything, then we are going to go down the road where all of a sudden you'll be disappeared. And that's not just making people scared. That's not just fear mongering. Is anyone paying attention? Is anyone seeing Australia right now? Has anyone seen Canada lately? They're just to the north. Is people watching Austria? Are people watching New Zealand and what's going on there? These are all Western nations, especially New Zealand, Australia, and Canada. I think United States considered them almost akin. Very similar Western nations. A lot of people, freedom lovers. Obviously not. Australia, they're building camps. They have camps for the quarantined. They just shipped off 38 people. That military picked up 38 people to bring them to quarantine camps for an undisclosed amount of time. Just get on the bus, people. Just get on the train car. Everything's going to be okay. And if you're thinking that can't happen here, you're out of your mind. I don't think we thought that we were going to intern our own people in California. No one thought that would happen. We were supposed to be the land of the free. And we interned thousands of our own citizens. It can happen again. Now, Dave, you brought up, you just saw something. What did you just send me? It looked like something that's super important to the conversation.
It is, actually. It's a book called Ordinary Men by Christopher R. Browning. You don't have to believe us in whatever we're saying here. I would just say read this book just to understand human behavior in the first place and why Alex is saying what he's saying. You could be an ordinary person that all of a sudden find yourself doing things that you never thought you would do. And this book explains it, really. It's a huge study on a police force in Germany, in Poland, when Germany took over.
Yeah. And I've read some primary sources because I did study World War II. Nazism was my concentration in college. I was a history major. And there were primary sources of, if you read, we did a one thing where we read primary sources, a few of them. And then our professor asked, who do you think that was? Was that an ally or was that Axis? And when I tell you I was wrong, a lot of us, most of us were wrong most of the time. It's because these people perpetrating all of this evil don't necessarily come out and spout. The Nazis weren't in everything going, the Jews, we're going to get all the Jews. I don't know why I gave it that accent, but they were not just yelling about Jews and everything they wrote about. You know what they wrote about? I miss my family. I just want to end this fighting. This is terrible. I don't know why we're still here. What are we doing here? And you know what that ended up being? That ended up being a German soldier sitting in Russia, freezing his ass off. That wasn't an ally. They are ordinary people that are very capable of doing great evil. And just for a reference, there's police forces in evil regimes that started out as the police force there. Then when they became evil, they took up the Gestapo in Nazi Germany. That police force really didn't change. They were the same. They were the same because Hitler did a slow takeover of the Weimar Republic and he just kept everyone there. And you know who stayed? The ones who were willing to do the salute because they were scared for their family. They were scared for their loved ones. You don't have to be an awful person to do awful things. You become an awful person when you start doing those awful things. There's the OVRA in fascist Italy with Benito Mussolini. Same thing. Most of them were the regular cops before Mussolini took over. The Policia Armada, the armed police, they were formed after the Spanish Civil War in Spain when Franco consolidated power, made fascist Spain. They were the former Guardia de Asla who fought with the Republic in the war, and then the surviving ones became the Policia Armada. And you famously, the Militaya in Russia, less known, but they're the police force that's still there in Russia. They were the police force that were the citizens' police force after, after Stalin took over. So if you're telling me that our cops who are our cops are a citizen force. They're volunteers, essentially. They're hired, but they volunteer to go through training and become police officers. So it can happen here. And we need our cops to continue to stay our cops and protect and serve the public, not the politicians. And we've already seen this in America early in the pandemic, and we've seen it all throughout American history, where cops are willing to do the bidding of politicians instead of protecting and serving the people. Dave, what you got?
And it's not even about, because I'm sure you're going to bring up some of the things that cops have done in Western countries to people, enforcing the things that should be illegal, either constitutionally or just really against the rights of people.
Yeah.
But it's not even about them doing things. It's about them not doing things too. The whole Rittenhouse situation does not happen, like you said earlier, if the cops just were doing their job that night and not allowing a riot to happen the way it did. It just doesn't happen. And that's part of the problem. They were told to not do what they have to do to stop a riot that night. And they were told in many other cities, like Portland, which had over 100 nights of riots, to not step in. That's a part of the problem too. It's not just enforcing things that are against people's rights. It is not enforcing the law that we have on the books as well.
And in San Francisco, where they're not allowed to do anything, we see San Francisco right now. The mayor is mad at looters looting. I think it was a Gucci store, and took something like $120,000 worth of product. And he is angry about it, when it's legal to take something if it's under $1,000 there and walk out, and the cops can't do anything. Now, this is also where I'm saying the good cops need to step up. A good chief, a good group of cops need to say, fuck that. I don't care. That is not right to destroy another fellow citizen's property, because in the end, police officers are your fellow citizens. And they need to be reminded of that. And like I said, if you are a family member of a cop, good friend of a cop, and you know they're a good person, and they come home, and I guarantee cops that come home every day now conflicted, every single day. Because number one, they don't know how they could do their job anymore. They don't know what to do in their job anymore. Besides traffic stops, that's like the safest thing right now. And it used to be dangerous as hell to do traffic stops because you don't know who was there. Now they'd probably rather take their chances than driving into certain neighborhoods, because not even that the neighborhoods are dangerous. They want to go into these dangerous neighborhoods and help these people, but they don't want to sit there and do their job and then get put on trial for it. And cops are super conflicted right now all around the country, and we need to keep the good ones and tell them to stay strong. I know I heard shows where people are telling cops to resign. No, don't resign. Do not resign. I know it sucks. I know I'm asking a lot of people, a lot of these cops who are shoveling shit every day, not allowed to do their job the way that they're supposed to. But please stay. You're the first line of defense for, God forbid, the worst happens in this country. God forbid someone tries to consolidate power and the military sides with them. Who is the best trained with firearms outside of the military in this country? It is our police officers. They have military style training now with their SWAT and special units. They have very good weaponry. They are the front lines. And if we can't rely on them, if they turn on us, even in America where we are strapped to the teeth, the citizenry will lose. We need the police to stay on our side and stay on the side of freedom, stay on the side of the Constitution. Every single police officer swears an oath to their state and United States Constitution to uphold the laws. And we need them to continue to stay on the side and continue to do the right thing and stand up when you need to and make them fire you. If you're going to stand up on principle, don't quit. Make them fire you. So when all this shit turns around, and it will turn around if we stay strong and we do the right things, if all this craziness stops, you can turn around and get your job back, or you can get wrongful termination. There's a bunch of cops looking for wrongful termination stuff because they donated to the Rittenhouse funds and were fired for it. So it can happen. We just need the cops to continue, the good cops to stay. Stop quitting. We don't need the lemmings in there to only do it, to take bidding, to do their job, to take orders, and to do the wrong thing. We need the good cops in there with some backbone and leadership positions to say that's wrong. We need great sheriffs to stay around and enforce only the proper rules, because the sheriffs can push against the politicians, and we need them to do that. So, Dave, do you have anything else on this?
No, I think I got out enough.
And lastly, I do have to say, Black Lives Matter rioters and Antifa rioters, you are the useful idiots right now. Anyone that supports this far left movement, you're the useful idiots. Because I just talked about the cops, right? And if the good cops go, if they were able to funnel out the good cops because they shovel shit, they won't take a vax or whatever. And not saying all people that won't take the vaccine are good or good cops. Just generally, they're just not shitheads because they're doing it on principle. But if somehow the worst happens, when I tell you Antifa and Black Lives Matter, you have been used by the side that wants to consolidate power, and then they will use these lemming cops to turn on you first. It is a typical consolidation of power tactic. You use those extremists that get you into power and then save the country from them. And that's how it will go down. So if you are a big supporter of Antifa or the rioters in BLM, think twice. Think twice about what's going on in this country and what you are supporting. Because there might be a time where you are the useful idiot and you're the one that will be used, and you'll be the bad guy by everyone in the country. All right, Dave. Anything else? Or is that going to wrap this bad boy up?
No, I think that's good. If you want to find me, I may be starting a wood chipping company. Possibly not for actual wood chippers, but we'll see.
Where does this stem from, David? Can you please tell people where they can actually... Because I would listen, You Are Here is a great show. Eliza Schaefer and Sydney Watson. They have awesome guests.
It's not where it stems from, though.
That's not where the wood chipper necessarily stems from. But
no, that's not where that.
No. Yeah. But where'd your rage come from for this?
Oh, my rage come from hearing Eliza Blue talk about sex trafficking and pedophilia and just how incredibly rampant it is in America. Like, we have to understand this. Oh, it's not just rampant in these other... No, in America, it is a huge, huge problem, and it needs to be stamped out. And like you said, honestly, if someone is able to rape a little boy or a little girl, wood chipper. It's hard for me to argue anywhere else but wood chipper for that person. It really is. It really is. But like, sometimes you want to step back, have a more
nuanced, I guess,
approach.
Yeah.
No, you want a more like Christ-like approach, and maybe try to love the person but hate the sin. But it's really hard to not just say, yeah, wood chipper, go ahead. Like, that's it. And it's, yeah.
And on that note, we're going to officially end the show. Started off angry, ended off angry. It's the perfect way to end it. And this show is the perfect way to get us banned, but that's awesome. I'm with it. But again, everyone, I thank you for listening to the Alex Cuesta show with David. We appreciate it. We appreciate any support. If you are against pedophilia, please share, follow.
Don't do that.
If you're against pedophilia, if you are a pedophile, please go find a wood chipper and insert yourself while turning it on. But overall, go ahead, Dave. You have something to say.
I do want to say, Christ-like approach.
No.
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 I know.
No.
It's very hard for me to say no. Okay.
No.
All right.
No Christ-like approach for them. They don't deserve it. They're the snake. Right. They are the snake in the tree telling Adam and Eve to eat the apple. They are the pure evil that we were warned about. It's
hard to argue against.
They are it. Pedophiles are the evil, especially ones that violently rape kids, especially those. So, wood chipper, no Christ-like approach for them. I don't get it. I will sin every time when it comes to them. Anyway, again, if you like this, if you're not a pedophile, if you hate pedophiles like we do, like, share, follow, word of mouth, tell everybody about this show. Again, social media, last name Cuesta, Cuesta. David and I share it. Go search the Alex Cuesta Show on all socials. We are there. And once again, thank you so much for listening. Thanks for the support. We will be back next week talking about something that may get us banned from the internet, everybody. I appreciate everyone listening. So long, all.